Like this or what?
Damn.
Wait, what? Like this?
Great.
Hey, I am Caps, I'm Midlane at Fnatic.
And I'm Broxah, I'm the jungler for Fnatic and the one half of the Swole Bros here. Yeah.
I guess I'm going first.
Yeah, I wonder what you're answering to this one.
I mean, I think they're overrated. Like, I feel like everyone's always carrying a backpack no matter where they go, but a lot of time you can just, you know, carry it yourself, so I'll say overrated.
I mean, I think backpacks are a little underrated, especially for Caps' case. You know, seeing him at tournaments, you know, walking around with his keyboard and everything like this, you know, instead of putting it in a backpack. Maybe one day I'll convince him that backpacks are underrated, but for now, I guess it's fine like this. Well, I'm obviously a little biased about the gym. I like going to the gym, so I think it's underrated. But at the same time, it's a bit different from person to person. So I can understand if people don't like going to the gym or don't want to. But for me, I think it's really underrated because like it helps me feel better about myself during the day. It helps give some confidence. Doing some physical activity also helps keep focus during the day. So I like going to the gym.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously you don't get like big muscles without any work, but
obviously.
But every time you go gym, you know, you're also missing a solo queue game. So I like my solo queue, so I'll say overrated, even though it's pretty good. Of course, it's gonna be underrated. I mean, it's hard to say because everyone's saying it's OP already, so maybe it's not actually underrated. Maybe it's just rated correctly, you know.
I would say jungle position is underrated in competitive, but overrated in solo queue. On many teams in competitive jungles are kind of working in the shadows and you don't see their work as much. So for example, you know, often if Caps has 20 kills, then I have some sort of part in it. For the most part, unless he's playing Irelia solo killing enemy mid 10 times. I've seen that one before, but I think in competitive at the very least, junglers are underrated.
And it's overrated in solo queue?
Yeah, and overrated in solo queue.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah.
We don't have to agree on everything. I think Korean solo queue is overrated. People play way too aggressive here and everyone just tries to solo carry regardless of how the game is. Like even if you're ahead 20-0, then you're one guy that's like 0-0 will just go in and try to solo kill the enemy. And as a jungler with all my lanes going really ham, it can be a little frustrating at times and people die to a lot of obvious ganks as well. So I think it's overrated. I actually like EU solo queue more because generally in EU solo queue people play a bit more safe than they do here, and that's nice because that makes my life as a jungler easier.
I mean, solo queue can be solo queue. Sometimes you're just unlucky, but it's definitely nice that there's so many pro players, especially for the World Bootcamp. I'm running into like a lot of both Korean pro players, but also like other foreign pro players, and definitely like hype because you don't play against some random person, but you play against like an actual person you can give like a face and a certain playstyle. So that's kind of fun. You can match up against them. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, solo queue. So a lot of times, or at least sometimes, it's unlucky. You know?
To be a good league player, you need a nice haircut as well. So, you know, I'm sure that, you know, haircut is what brings mechanics. Like just look at Caps, like, you know, you wouldn't have those mechanics without the insane haircut. So I think haircuts are pretty underrated. They're very necessary to be at the top.
Yeah, I mean, I also get a haircut every now and then, and you know, I mean, I like having short hair, so it's actually pretty nice, but it takes a long time, you know, and weird. I would actually like to learn myself. If I learn how to cut my own hair, then it will be underrated. But until then, I'll go with overrated. It's been played a lot everywhere, so maybe it's not underrated actually, but it's pretty strong right now in the meta. The teams around the world who have a Legion player played it in the final, but of course we couldn't play it, so it's unlucky, but you know.
Yeah, I think Leeson is pretty underrated. Some teams have started picking him up, and as Gavs mentioned, played him in a few finals here and there. There's a pretty good chance of some teams actually considering to play the champion at Worlds too, because he's just the type of champion, a bit like Yasuo, where it has like really high skill ceiling and you can make some really sick plays and carry your team in a different way than a lot of other junglers. So I hope I get my hands on him too. I still have to convince Dylan and Joey, but I'm working on it. It's a slow process. Caps' shoes. Man, it's not fair asking me this question with Caps next to me. Now I have to be careful.
I'm not saying anything.
Okay, I think Caps' shoes are, I think they're a little overrated. Maybe one day in the near future, especially if we do well at Worlds and he gets a good prize pool, then probably go buy some new ones. Yeah, I don't think it's Caps' shoes that makes him the great player that he is, I have to admit that.
They're still working, you know, like they're not falling completely apart from each other yet, so if they work, then why not wear them, you know? They fit pretty nice, they are pretty nice to use as well, so I'm going to say underrated. It's kind of looking like a pretty easy group for us, like we have to beat Under Thieves, it looks like right now, to get second. We don't know the fourth team yet, but as it looks right now we have to beat Under Thieves, which should be doable. So, but I feel like it's actually underrated because regardless of which group we would have been in, it would have been kind of the same situation. Because if we would have been in the KT group, I think all we had to do was beat like TL or something like this. Like they were the other good team there. Even if we were in the RNG group, everyone's saying group of death, then we would just have to beat, you know, Generation G, which sure they might seem like a really hard opponent, but so is IG, I feel like. The same goes for Group A, where we would have to match up against Africa. So I feel like while we have a good group, I feel like all the groups are good for the first seed team.
I kind of agree. I feel like every group is pretty similar, and regardless of which group we ended up in, like we cannot be sure to go through anyways. I think Group B is the most tricky one, but at the same time we come into the tournament with pretty high expectations, so at one point we have to be able to beat teams like RNG or Gen G anyways to actually live up to those expectations. And yeah, like 100 Thieves also seem like a pretty weak team compared to many teams at Worlds, but at the same time anything can happen in best of one, and if we do end up getting G-Rex as well, then sure we're the favorites coming into the games against 100 Thieves and G-Rex, but if we make mistakes we're still gonna lose, so I think it's underrated.
Korean barbecue is pretty good, but it's also rated highly, so I mean, it's probably underrated. I feel like I could eat a Korean barbecue every day, if it didn't mean I have to leave my room as well. So that's like, actually that's the downside, Maybe we had a Korean barbecue in here, it could be better, you know. Actually they made that, no? The Fnatic gear for 1st April. That's some barbecue Korean barbecue.
Oh yeah, they made some barbecue on the keyboard.
I mean, if we had this one, then maybe we could make it work, you know.
What do they make? Like X on the keyboard. Like if you can make X, then you can probably make some meat and rice on the keyboard and mouse as well. We have to try at some point.
I mean, I'll say underrated anyway, because I like it.
I think it's underrated as well. I never tried Korean barbecue before I joined Fnatic. Now I've had it like a million times, and it's great every time.
You can try it, and then you tell me afterwards if it's over or underrated.
Okay. Wait,
Wanna take one?
That's not what I expected.
Not what I expected.
I thought it would be like bigger cookies or something.
We just eat one and unfree?
Yeah, let's try. One, two, three.
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, they're probably pretty underrated. They're pretty nice. I like them. Should maybe import some to Berlin when we leave from here. They're quite nice.
Yeah, I was a bit worried, but I actually like it.
What on earth is this?
What is it? Is it pasta?
You need help?
Yeah, help please.
It's actually pasta.
It's too hot. Oh, so strong. Cap smash.
Ladies first.
Oh, thanks. So nice. What is now I'm scared. Like now I'm actually
scared. You go first.
Okay, go.
I don't even know what this is, but what do you think? Honey butter squid. I mean, I don't want to offend anyone, but I'm not the biggest fan of this. That's for sure. I don't think this is my type of. I guess it's candy, but
It's kind of hard to eat, but
I don't like too much. From my point of view, if this is a hype thing, which it might be, then it's a little overrated. Not my thing.
yeah, I think it's a bit overrated as well. I mean, it's maybe if you get used to it, but it was kind of
Yeah, like
different.
we've never had anything like this. Like we're a bit biased.
I think I'm gonna go back to the chocolate.
No.
Wait, what's the face mask?
No.
What is it?
We're gonna look like clowns.
What's the face mask?
No, are you serious? You know, oh my god. There's no way.
What's it? I don't even know what a face mask is.
No. I might refuse to do this.
What?
Depending on how bad.
What is it even? Is it something you put on your face or what?
Yeah.
And then what? Oh, but it feels really weird. What is it? Also, like my eyes there, my nose. Not like that, I guess. Wait, why is Ross not doing it? Ross, are you hobbler?
I'm calling overrated already.
Like this or what?
Damn.
Wait, what? Like this?
Great.
And I just keep it like this or what? Why is it dripping?
How does it feel?
I mean, I'm not sure. Maybe if it makes me, I'm not sure what it does. But I mean, right now I just have this on my face. But yeah, I mean, if it's good for my skin, then I'll say underrated. But right now, yeah.
You could play solo queue with this one.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if it saves my skin. But if it didn't do anything, then I'd probably say
I
overrated.
think for me very overrated, but for Caps it's extremely underrated.
I wouldn't just put one on my face for fun. But maybe, I mean, if it saves my day. If it makes me look young, then you know, if when I'm 50 I'll look 20, then it's worth. I thought it was gonna be like a mask, like an actual mask.
I knew what it was.
So how do I look right now?
It can't.
Well, how do I look?